Hey everyone, NJ Coaster here, aka Kevin, coming to you with another video. I just wanted to thank everyone for all the views on the shorts as well as the videos in the past. And today we're going to go through my ranking of Six Flags Great Adventures roller coasters. This is going to be my top 10 rides of 2022. So this will be my personal opinions of the rides in 2022. Obviously, not all the coasters that the park has will be on the list. But this is my ranking, my top 10. Before we continue, if you could hit that like button and drop a subscription, there'll be more videos coming, so I appreciate all the time. And as always, feel free to leave a comment. I'm working on my videos as much as I can to make it a little better for you. So without further ado, here's my rankings of the Six Flags Great Adventures roller coasters for my rides of 2022. Coming in at number 10 is the Dark Knight coaster. It is a indoor wild mouse coaster. Definitely probably the best themed roller coaster of the entire park. One that's coming up might be pretty close to as good as theming, but this is definitely as close to a Universal or Disney park as you're going to finally probably get coming to Six Flags. It's not that intense, but it's always a good time. It's always a good coaster for people that are looking to bridge the gap of roller coasters. Coming in at number 9, this might be surprising to you. Number 9 is Superman the Ride, the flying coaster. I do not dislike this ride, so don't get me wrong. The only reason that it's further down the list, I am not a fan as much of the flying position as you're sitting back. And also, this is not really anybody's fault, but you kind of sit on the brake run in an uncomfortable position for a little while after the ride's over. So it's not my number 1 ride in the park. I do always ride it when I go to the park, and that pretzel loop gives you some of the best laterals and anything I've ever seen. Coming in at number 8, another shocker, Skull Mountain. So yes, Skull Mountain comes in at number 8 on my list of roller coasters. This is a back ride coaster. You have to do it in the back row. As you go through that first hill, you get ejected from your seat. It is a really great back ride, and it's also another good build-up coaster, but definitely go to the back ride. It's an indoor coaster. It's a family coaster. It's just an all-around fun ride. I always enjoy the ride going on Skull Mountain. Number 7 is Green Lantern. I know this is very, 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 very controversial. A lot of people hate the stand-up coaster, Green Lantern, that was moved here once they took out the Great American Scream Machine, which was also a great ride. I missed that ride so much. But yeah, I had a great ride. My great ride in 2022. I guess I must have sat in a seat that's not rough. I also am aware of what's going to happen, so I make sure that I brace myself. I try to sit in the seat or stand in the seat accordingly, so that way it doesn't crush the nether regions, as a lot of people call it. And I make sure I brace up for the ride. But my ride was great. It's a great looping coaster. You standing up is a different feeling. I just overall had good rides in it, and it wasn't that rough for me this year, so that's why it remained at the number 7. Number 6 on the list is Batman the Ride. This is the cloned B&M invert. This is one of my favorite inverts that I've ever ridden. It's always fun. It's intense. It is starting to get a little rough, even after the repaint this year, but I just enjoyed my rides on it. This is always a go-to ride for me, so it comes in at number 6. Number 5 is the re-themed Medusa. This original sit-down coaster is one of my favorites as well. It's just, once again, all around a fun ride. A lot of people say it's starting to get a little janky, a little rough. It has its little rough spots, but I think it's pretty smooth all the way through. And I think this is, a ride that you could usually get on pretty quickly, especially this year with the lower attendance at Six Flags. And you could almost walk onto this ride almost every single time. Definitely one of my favorites. Coming in at number 4, this is also very controversial, but I told you my list is going to be controversial. Number 4 is Nitro. One of my favorite rides, always. One of my favorite hypers. A lot of people get very controversial rides. I had very good rides all year on this. The airtime is still a little bit lacking, but I've definitely felt like it was moving really quickly, and that helix always gets me every single time. I feel like I gray out almost every single time on that helix. But my rides were great on it. Still one of my favorite hypers out there. Number 3 is King Da Ka. Yes, Kingda Ka is number 3 on my list. Amazing rides this year. As long as you sit in the front half of the train, it is not as janky as a lot of people say. A lot of people compare Top Thrill Dragster and Kingda Ka and say that Kingda Ka is a little bit jankier, which I can see that, but I had great rides this year. It's quick, it's intense, and it's just an adrenaline rush. You can't miss it. Number 2 at the park is Jersey Devil. So a lot of people like to switch around Kingda Ka, Nitro, and number 1 on the list. However, I have this at number 2 on my list this year. I rode it back when it first came out, and it was slow. I felt nothing. I literally got nothing out of my rides on it. It went into the brake run and pretty much stopped. The second half I felt like we weren't going to make it. However, this year on my rides I rode in the summer, in the afternoon after it was warmed up, I feel like I grayed out the entire time. That first drop is amazing. That Raven dive is amazing. I feel like I was getting pulled out of my seat the entire ride. Even the second half, that's not as great. I just had such a great ride. And it was it's so re-rideable in so many different spots. And if you haven't been on JD or Jersey Devil recently, you have to give it another re-ride. It's really worth it. Trust me. Definitely try to get there in the summer when it's warmed up. It's fantastic. My number 1 at Six Flags Great Adventure for my 2022 ride is El Toro. So obviously a lot of people know about the accident that occurred to El Toro. I did luckily get to ride it prior to the accident when it was warmed up, and before it started getting janky. I know a lot of people said towards closer to the accident that it started getting really rough. I have a little bit of higher tolerance for roughness. There was some parts that were a little bit rough, but it wasn't anything that was unbearable for me. I would marathon that ride. Just keep going. I didn't feel that many rough. I mean, like I said, I have a higher tolerance. I know it got rougher since I rode it. There is a caveat. I really hope that everyone was okay from the accident. I really, really hope that Six Flags Great Adventure puts the time, the energy, and the money to bring this ride back. This ride is a top tier ride. This is a top 10 ride for many people, sometimes top 5 ride. When it's running right, when it's smooth, this ride is fun. This ride gives you everything that you ever want, and it just blows you away. So I really hope that Six Flags Great Adventure does what it needs to do. I've been seeing some videos from other YouTubers. It looks like there's at least some partial retracking going on, but hopefully they do the right thing and bring this back ride to make it safe and make it great for everybody. Well, I appreciate you guys stopping by to look at my top 10 roller coasters at Six Flags Great Adventure due to my 2022 rides. I know there's one roller coaster that wasn't on there that a lot of people would most likely have on there over some of the ones I had, and that was Joker, the free spin. I just dislike that ride. I'm sorry. Just not my favorite ride. I'd rather have Superman, Skull Mountain, and Green Lantern and Dark Knight over Joker. Just not my cup of tea. Don't like the ride. Nothing against it. It's just not what I want. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. Feel free to go to Twitter and follow me, NJ Coaster, and then keep checking back for more videos. Thank you so much, and have a great day.